Hi everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name's Alana and I'm so excited to be talking with you today about my 25 most anticipated book releases of 2025. We're just gonna get right into it. I'm filming this video on January 23rd, which means there have already been several books released up to this point. That being said, I will not be talking about books that have already released in January, but will review all of the ones coming out in the remainder of the year that I'm so excited for. The first is Good Dirt by Charmaine Wilkerson. This is the same author who brought us Black Cake. It's about a trauma experienced by a wealthy Black family in New England and the daughter's journey to cope with it throughout her adult life. The other release I'm very excited for on January 28th is The Crash by Frida McFadden. People have strong opinions on Frida. I personally am a Frida fanatic. I realize that not everything she produces is 5 stars. Most are 3 and above, with several 5, in my opinion. That being said, The Crash is about a pregnant woman who gets into a car accident during a snowstorm, and she's invited to take shelter in the cabin of a couple, where things get spooky. Needy Little Things by Chanel Desamores releases on February 4th. This is a young adult speculative fiction type of mystery story about a teenage girl with the power to see what people need. She ends up using this power to help solve the mystery of her best friend's murder. Victorian Psycho by Virginia Faito also releases on February 4th. This is the story of a woman who moves onto a manor in order to become the governess for a family. It's kind of giving Handmaid's Tale vibes because the husband ends up kind of being attracted to the governess. The wife ends up punishing her for this, and it turns out the governess just finds the kids kind of annoying. So in this whole landscape, the protagonist finds that she has to, quote, refrain from engaging in her violent tendencies. This book is already slated for a film adaptation with Margaret Qualley, which tells me that this is going to be phenomenal both in print and on screen. On February 11th, we're getting a nonfiction release that I'm so excited about called Original Sins. It explores how our public education system was designed to fail specific groups of people. This feels like an especially timely and poignant piece to pick up a physical copy of. On a more lighthearted note, we're also getting a fun, fluffy rom-com on February 11th, First Time Caller by B.K. Barson. This is like your classic Sleepless in Seattle, hopeless romantic meets like a surly radio DJ host sort of vibe. I think it will add nice balance to Original Sin. On February 25th, we'll be getting Deep Cuts by Holly Brickley. It's about 2 people who fall in love during college over their passion for music, and then it follows their journey throughout the rest of their adult life. As a music lover, as a romance reader, I'm just so excited by the premise of this book. I'm also excited because it's been compared to one of my other all-time favorite books, Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. And this list is a list of duality. So on one hand, on March 4th, we have Oathbound by Tracy Dion coming out, the 3rd installment in the Legend Board series. On the nonfiction end, we also have Saving 5, a memoir of hope by Amanda Nguyen, which recounts her experience being essayed as a student at Harvard in 2013, her post-grad journey to join NASA, and her journey to continue to advocate for essay victims on a legislative level. Keeping it more light and fun moving into the end of March, When the Moon Hits Your Eye releases on March 25th. In this story, the moon as we know it is replaced by a giant ball of cheese. I just think it's a hilarious concept and I'm excited to see how it goes. I just get the feeling it's going to be unlike anything else I've ever read. It feels perfectly absurd and perfectly believable because how would we know? On March 25th, we are also getting the story of Elphaba, so Elfie, by Gregory Maguire is coming out, which recounts the childhood of Elphaba prior to the Wicked story. And finally, we of course have a nonfiction coming out on March 25th as well. Cellar Rat by Hannah Sellinger takes us through the highs and lows of working in fine dining. She's worked with celebrity chefs, she's worked in the best kitchens, and it explores the question of what happens when you have a career that you love and also a career that is draining the life out of you? I think that's a very poignant question that we all need to be asking ourselves, and it has the backdrop of being very food related. I love a food related story. You should know this about me. I'm a winter girl through and through, but I am so excited for spring this year because on April 1st, we're getting Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. I haven't met an Abby Jimenez book I don't like. I can't wait for this one. It's very animal focused. It follows the plot line of a character who was like very briefly mentioned in Just for the Summer. I'm excited to see the love story of a character who's not obviously involved in the inner circle of some of the other characters we've already met in this world. April 8th is a huge release day for books that I am very passionate about. First up, we have House of Blight by Maxim Martineau, which is maybe my most beloved advanced read from 2024. I can't even explain to you how I thought about this book for weeks and weeks and weeks. I loved it. If you're into fantasy, definitely check this book out. Also on April 8th is another book that I received as an ARC in 2024, The Gods Time Forgot by Kelsey Sheridan Gonzalez. This is a historical romantasy that very much gives Anastasia vibes, and I loved Anastasia as a kid. This is about a woman with no memory who's taken in by a family who swears that she's their daughter, and she goes on a journey to discover who she really really is, as well as unearth a larger political plot that's going on in the background. Lastly, April 8th also gives us The Maid's Secret by Nita Prose. I am a Molly the Maid stan. I think she's such a unique character. I love Nina Prose's writing, and I can't wait for the third installment in this series. The Eights by Joanna Miller releases on April 15th. This follows the story of four women who attend Oxford during the first year that women are allowed to attend Oxford and earn degrees. Who doesn't love a story of groundbreaking women learning stuff so that other women can continue to learn stuff? Obviously, I'm all about it. Bat Eater and Other Names for Corazon comes out on April 29th. Our protagonist is a crime scene cleaner in Chinatown who, in addition to cleaning up crime scenes that all seem to be Asian women and all mysteriously have bat carcasses at the scene of the crime, is also dealing with her own trauma from childhood as she goes through this current active one. On May 6th, the Wishbone Kitchen Cookbook comes out. I am so excited. I have been following Meredith Hayden on TikTok since probably February 2020. So I'm so excited to have a physical copy of all the recipes that have me drooling over my phone. Evergreen Conservatory by Heather Schneider comes out on May 30th, and I'm so excited to finally get the sequel to Evergreen Academy. I say finally as if I've been waiting a long time. I read Evergreen Academy at the end of 2024. It's a story about a school of students who are all magical botanists. The way that I describe it is if Harry Potter was only herbology students, but then they were split into different subject areas. On June 17th, Ashley Poston is giving us Sounds Like Love. As you know already, I love music and I love reading. So to have a magical realism love story based around music is very exciting to me. I read a novel love story in October and I liked it, but I didn't love it, which wouldn't be so disappointing if I wasn't expecting to love it. I was expecting to love it because of how much everyone else seemed to love it and because the concept really appeals to me. I love a magical realism story. I love a story where the characters are also into books and writing, and so there is no reason why I shouldn't have loved this book. And I can't really put my finger on why I didn't. I'm hoping that Sounds Like Love convinces me one way or the other if I'm an Ashley Poston person or not. I don't plan on reading The Dead Romantics or The 7-Year Slip before this book comes out because I really want to give her the best shot possible at winning me back. And I think a music-based magical realism love story is the way to do it. At 22, we have Don't Let Him In by Lisa Jewell coming out on June 24th. I absolutely loved None of This Is True, so I'm really excited to get another work from Lisa Jewell. I am a little bit confused by the plot. Basically, a man dies, leaving behind his daughter and wife, and as they're grieving him, they receive a strange letter from someone who claims to have known their dad/husband, but it seems like this person who wrote them the letter is not who he says he is. And then somehow a third woman becomes involved, and so it follows the journey of all three of these women to figure out how these men are or are not lying or lied to them. Let me just read you it. Nick Radcliffe is a man of substance and good taste. He has a smile that could melt the coldest heart and a knack for putting others at ease. He's just what Nina Swan needed in her life after her husband's unexpected death. But to Nina's adult daughter, Ash, Nick seems too slick, too polished, too good to be true. Without telling her mother, Ash begins digging into Nick's past. What she finds is more than unsettling. Martha is a florist living in a neighboring town with her infant daughter and her devoted husband, Alistair. But lately, Alistair has been traveling more and more frequently for work, disappearing for days at a time. Looking for answers, Martha plants a tracking device in his car. Nina, Martha, and Ash are on a collision course with a shocking truth that is far darker than anyone could have imagined. And all three are about to wish they had heeded the same warning. Don't let him in. I'm intrigued. I am so excited for this book, even though I know we are all sick of fantasy books taking this title format. August 5th gives us The Fallen and the Kiss of Dusk, which is the fourth installment in the Crowns of Nyaxia series. I read The Serpent and the Wings of Night as one of my first reads of 2025, and I am obsessed. I'm really excited that by the time I finish books 2 and 3, book 4 will be waiting for me to devour. We recently got some really excellent news from Rebecca Ross. On September 2nd, she is gifting us a standalone story in the Divine Rivals universe, Wild Reverence. My understanding is that it takes place before the Divine Rivals Ruthless Vows plotline. I loved that duology, and I'm so excited to have more content from that world. And finally, at number 25, we have The Ballad of Falling Dragons by Sarah Parker. This is the sequel to When the Moon Hatched, and no, I have not read it yet because I need to pace out all of my fantasy reading, but I'm still really excited for this one anyway. I have a really good feeling that I'm gonna love When the Moon Hatched and therefore be highly anticipating the sequel. And that's it. Those are the 25 books I am most excited about releasing in 2025. Let me know if any of these made your list or if there are any books I need to add to mine. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and if you want some more bookish content, feel free to subscribe. Bye!